The battlefield was cold and quiet. Smoke still floated in the air. Broken machines, burned weapons, and pieces of metal were everywhere. Nothing moved. No birds. No wind. Just silence. Jason walked slowly through the ruins. His boots made soft, crunching sounds on the black dirt. He wore an old helmet and carried a small scanner in one hand. He was looking for supplies, water, food, maybe a working battery. He was alone. This place was dangerous. The war between humans and the alien race called Kari had ended weeks ago, but the ground still held secrets. Some Kari fighters were still hiding in the shadows, waiting to kill anyone who entered. Jason should not be here. But he had no choice. His team had been attacked 2 days ago. He was the only survivor. He needed to stay alive. He needed something to help him get back to base. As he climbed over a burned tank, he heard something, a sound, very soft. It wasn't metal or wind. It was a cry. Jason froze. He stayed still and listened carefully. The sound came again. A weak, painful cry, like someone hurt and trying not to scream. He followed the sound. Behind a broken wall, under some rubble, he found her. An alien woman. Kari. She was lying on her side, her purple armor cracked and covered in blood. Her skin was pale silver and her hair long and dark blue. Her eyes were half closed. One hand pressed on her stomach. Blood leaked between her fingers. Jason took a step back. He knew. Kari warriors, fast, deadly, no mercy. But she didn't look like a warrior now. She looked broken, wounded, dying. Still, when she saw him, her eyes opened wide. She growled weakly and tried to reach for a weapon that wasn't there. "I'm not your enemy," Jason said slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you." She didn't understand. Or maybe she didn't believe him. He dropped his scanner and raised both hands. "Look," he said, "you're hurt. You'll die here." She coughed and winced in pain. Her breathing was slow and heavy. Jason looked around. No one was nearby. But the sound of engines in the distance made his heart jump. Enemy patrols. He had to move. Fast. He looked at her again. Helping her could mean death. His own people would call him a traitor. The Kari might kill him too. But something in her eyes, pain, fear, pride, made him step forward. "I can't leave you," he whispered. He knelt beside her and gently touched her arm. She flinched but didn't stop him. Her body was cold. He could feel her shaking. He took a deep breath and carefully lifted her into his arms. She was lighter than he expected. As he carried her, she whispered something in her language. A soft broken word Jason didn't understand, but he nodded. "I've got you," he said. "Just hold on." He moved fast now, through broken tunnels and dark alleys. He had passed a small cave earlier, covered with vines and hidden from above. It wasn't far. Behind him, the sound of engines grew louder. Voices in the alien tongue echoed across the dead field. Jason slipped into the cave just before the patrol flew overhead. He laid her down gently on a soft patch of dirt. The alien woman was unconscious now. Her skin had turned even paler. Jason opened his pack and pulled out a small medkit. It wasn't made for Kari biology, but it was all he had. He cleaned her wound and wrapped it the best he could. She groaned, but didn't wake. Then something strange happened. She reached out in her sleep, touched his hand with hers, and drew a mark on his skin with her blood. It was a small circle with a line through it. Jason stared at it. "What does that mean?" he whispered. He didn't know. But he felt something, a chill in his bones, a sense that something important had just happened. Outside, the patrol passed. The danger was gone, for now. Jason sat beside the alien woman. He watched her breathe, slow, weak, but alive. He should leave. He should run, but he didn't. He stayed, and somewhere deep inside he knew his life had just changed forever. *. The coast there. Cave was cold and dark. Jason sat near the small fire he had made with broken wires and dry grass. The flames were low, weak, just enough to keep the shadows away. The alien woman lay a few feet away, still sleeping, but something was wrong. Jason felt. Watched. Not by her, by the mark. The strange blood symbol she had drawn on his hand still burned, even after he tried to wipe it off. A circle, a line, simple, but it felt heavy. Like it meant more than just, "Thank you." He stared at the mark. Why did she look at me like that? He whispered to himself, thinking about the moment before she passed out. Her eyes were full of pain, but also something else. Like she knew something he did, and single quotes d. Hours passed. She finally moved. Jason jumped a little when she sat up fast, eyes wide, breathing hard. She looked around quickly, then spotted him. Her face changed, confused, angry, scared, and then calm. She looked at his hand, the mark. Suddenly, she touched her chest and then pointed to him. Then, in a deep, raspy voice, she said one word. "Vekshai." Jason blinked. "What?" She said it again, slower, stronger. "Vekshai." He didn't understand, but the way she said it gave him chills. He reached for his small translator device and tapped it. The machine buzzed, scanned her voice, and spoke back in a robotic voice. "Life claim, blood bond, chosen mate." Jason froze. "Mate? What are you talking about?" The woman pointed to the mark again, then placed her hand over her heart. "Saved me." "Marked you. Law is made." Jason shook his head. No. That's not, I just helped you. That's all. I don't want." But she didn't seem to hear his words. She slowly crawled closer, weak but focused. She reached out and gently touched the side of his face. Then she whispered something. The translator didn't catch. Jason looked at her eyes, glowing softly now. Not with anger, not with fear, but something older, ancient. Suddenly, there was noise. Outside. Footsteps. Voices. The woman's head snapped toward the cave entrance. She hissed something fast in her language. Warning? Fear? Jason stood, grabbed his weapon. But before he could react, 3 shadows stepped into view. Alien warriors. Tall, armored, holding strange silver staffs, Kari soldiers. Jason aimed his gun, ready to shoot, but the woman cried out sharply. The soldiers stopped. They looked at her. Then dropped their weapons. They knelt. Then, to Jason's shock, they bowed to him. One of them spoke in a low voice. The translator buzzed. "We honor the blood bond. You are her Vekshai, her mate. Now you belong to the House of Fire." Jason blinked. "What? No, I'm not part of any house." "I'm not." The woman touched his arm again. "Now you are," she said in slow, broken English. Jason looked at the alien warriors, then at her. This wasn't just about helping someone survive. This was a law, a rule, a tradition older than their war. By saving her life and touching her blood, he had become something more. Not just her rescuer, her mate, her protector, her bond. And now, maybe her target too. Jason never believed silence could feel this loud. But now, standing in the middle of a strange alien camp, with tall Kari warriors bowing to him, the silence screamed. He hadn't slept since the night in the cave. Not really. How could he? He had saved a wounded alien woman, not knowing he'd be marked as her mate by tribal law. Not knowing he'd be part of something ancient. Now, he stood beside her. Her name was Sira. As Kari elders spoke strange words, circled him with smoke, and painted his face with glowing red dust. Jason didn't understand the language, but he understood one thing. This wasn't just thanks. This was a bonding ritual. He pulled Sira aside once the chant stopped. "Look," he said quietly. "I didn't save you to marry you. I didn't ask for this. I saw someone dying, that's it." Sira looked at him. Her eyes were calm, tired, older than her face. She placed a hand on his chest. "You gave life. You were seen. You were marked. Now tribe protects you. Now you protect me. Jason shook his head. I'm human. I don't belong here. But she just gave a small smile. You do now. Later that night, Jason sat alone near the fire. The Kari warriors watched him from a distance, not with hate, but with curiosity, respect, maybe even fear. He looked at the blood, mark still on his hand. He had tried to wash it, rub it off, burn it, it didn't fade. Instead, it began to glow, like it was alive, like it was watching him too. He was thinking of escape when an old Kari soldier sat next to him. The old one spoke in deep, slow words. Jason turned on his translator. You touched her blood. You carry her. Bond, you are more than mate. You are shield, you are fire. Jason frowned. I don't want to be fire. I want to go home. The old Kari looked into the fire for a long time, then said, If you break the bond, you both die. Jason stared at him. What? It is written in the old stone. If a life bond is broken by the chosen, their hearts turn to ash. 2 bodies, 1 soul. Death follows both. Jason laughed once, bitterly. Great, he muttered. So now I'm stuck? The old warrior stood up and left without a word. Jason didn't sleep that night either. The next morning, everything changed again. Jason was walking near the edge of the camp when he saw something strange. A small device blinking under a rock. Human. Tech. A tracking beacon. He picked it up slowly. Someone had followed him here. Before he could warn anyone, a sharp sound filled the air. A hologram blinked to life, spinning in front of him. Human face appeared. It was his old commander. But the message wasn't for him. It was for the Kari. To the alien rebels hiding our soldier. Return him, or we consider this an act of war. Jason's blood ran cold. Return him? No, they didn't know what he had done, what he had become. He looked back towards Sierra's tent. She was standing outside, staring at the hologram. Her face was pale, her eyes wide, and for the first time since, he had found her. She looked afraid. Jason stepped toward her. What does this mean? He asked. Sierra didn't answer. Instead, she reached behind her back and pulled out a small cube. She tapped it once, and a new hologram appeared, a bounty notice. Sierra, daughter of General Kale, rebel, traitor to the throne, wounded during escape. Dead or alive, reward. Offered. Jason stared at it in shock. Your royalty? Sierra looked at him, ashamed. No, not anymore. Jason stepped back. His heart pounded. He had saved her, bonded with her. And now? He was in the middle of an alien political war. And he wasn't just her protector anymore. He was her only shield. Jason ran. Not from monsters. Not from soldiers. He ran from truth. The woman he saved, the one lying in his arms, broken and bleeding just days ago, was a traitor princess. Hunted, wanted, marked for death. And now, he was marked too. It started just before sunrise. The Kari camp was quiet. Most were asleep. Sierra stood outside her tent, staring into the trees. Jason stepped beside her. You should have told me, he said. I tried, she whispered. You used me. No, she said, turning to him. I trusted you. Before he could answer, a high-pitched sound sliced through the sky. A drone. A second later, boom. The explosion shook the ground. The attack had begun. 3 silver drones flew overhead, firing sharp blue lasers. Kari warriors grabbed weapons. The sky lit up with smoke and fire. Jason pulled Sierra behind a stone wall. They found us. Sierra nodded. They always find me. She handed him a strange-looking blaster. I don't know how to use this, Jason said. You will, she replied. You're bonded now. He didn't have time to argue. Another drone dropped a small black orb. Jason fired. Somehow, the weapon answered his thoughts. The orb exploded in mid-air. Sierra smiled. The bond listens. After 15 minutes of chaos, the drones fell. But the damage was done. Half the camp was burning. 2 Kari were dead. 1 was a child. Jason stared at the smoke, his heart racing. "This is because of me," he said. Sira looked at him. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of sorrow. "No, this is because of me. They would kill all of us just to get to me." She paused. "You should leave before it gets worse." Jason stared at her, stunned. "You want me to run? I want you to live." Later that day, Jason sat alone by the river, washing blood from his hands. He felt sick, not just from the fight, from everything. He was a human, caught in an alien war, bonded to a woman he didn't know, and somehow a target in 2 worlds. He looked at the mark on his hand, still there, still glowing. He dipped it in the water, tried to scrub it off again. Nothing. A voice came from behind. "You still hate it?" Jason turned. It was the old Kari warrior, the same one who spoke to him before. Jason nodded. "Yeah, I didn't ask for this." The old one sat down beside him. "But it asked for you." Jason scoffed. "What does that mean?" "The bond chooses, not the man, not the woman. The bond is older than law, older than war." Jason said nothing. "You think this is a mistake. Maybe it is. But the fire has chosen you, human. And fire does not choose lightly." That night, Jason couldn't sleep. He kept hearing the sound of the drone, the explosion, the scream of the child. He walked to Sira's tent. She was awake, sitting in silence, staring at her hands. Jason sat across from her. "I'm not leaving," he said. Sira didn't look up. "You should." "I'm not." She finally met his eyes. "You'll die." "Maybe, but I'll die knowing I did the right thing." Silence. Then, slowly, she reached out and touched his hand. Their marks glowed, pulsing together. For the first time, Jason didn't pull away. Far above them, in orbit, a human ship received a new command. Subject 41 located. Engaged in illegal bonding. Human asset compromised. The message was clear. Next time, no warnings. Kill on sight. Jason woke up before the sun. Not because of a sound, not because of a dream, because of the feeling. His heartbeat was different. Slow, heavy, like it echoed inside his chest. He sat up, gasping. His skin was hot, his breath sharp. He looked at his hand. The blood mark was glowing again, brighter than ever before. And this time, it was moving. The red line twisted slightly across his skin like a tiny river of fire. Not burning, but alive. Jason stumbled outside, heart racing. The sky was still dark, stars hanging above the quiet camp. No one was awake. Only the wind moved. He walked to the edge of the cliffs beyond the tents, where the ground dropped into a deep canyon of blue light. He had never been there before, but somehow he knew the way. Behind him, Sira appeared, silent as shadow. "You felt it," she said softly. Jason turned. His voice was rough. "What's happening to me?" "The bond," she said. "It's waking." Jason stepped back. "Waking? What does that mean?" Sira looked at him, serious. "You're changing." Later that day, it got worse. Jason heard things, footsteps before they came, whispers that weren't spoken. His reflexes were faster, his aim perfect. He dodged a falling blade before it fell. When a young Kari dropped her knife in the fire, Jason caught it with his bare hand. No burn, not even a mark. The Kari stared at him. So did the others. Sira stepped forward. She touched his hand again, her eyes wide. "He's crossing," she whispered. "The bond is taking root." Jason pulled away. "I'm human." Sira looked sad. "You were." At night, Jason stood alone outside the camp, breathing heavy. Looked at the stars. He wondered if Earth still looked the same. Would they even take him back now? His DNA was changing. His heartbeat, his senses, his instincts, all merging with hers. He wasn't just bonded. He was becoming something else. Not Kar, Not human. Something in between. Suddenly, he heard voices behind the trees. He crouched low. 3 Kari, whispering. In secret, he focused and understood them. No translator. Just understood. He should not exist. The bond has gone too deep. He's dangerous, like the prophecy said. Jason's heart froze. What prophecy? He stepped back, snapped a twig. The Kari turned, but Jason was already gone, running fast. Faster than he thought possible. He burst into Sira's tent. She stood quickly. What happened? Jason grabbed her shoulders. What prophecy? Sira went pale. You heard them? Jason nodded. I understood them, without tech. She sat down slowly. I was afraid this would happen. She reached into her cloak and pulled out something ancient, a crystal tablet. Black as night, etched in silver. She tapped it and an image appeared. 2 figures, one human, one Kari, standing hand in hand. Behind them, fire and war. Below them, peace, or ash. Sira whispered. A bond between worlds. One blood from 2 hearts. If the bond is pure, peace. If the bond is broken, everything dies. Jason looked at the image. That's me? He asked. Sira nodded. It was always you. Before he could speak, a horn blasted outside. Kari guards rushed through the tents. An enemy had arrived. Not humans. Something else. A rogue Kari tribe, banished warriors, had tracked them. They didn't care about prophecy. They only cared about blood. And Jason? He was first on their list. Jason stood in the ruins of what used to be the Kari council tent. Smoke still floated in the air. The rogue tribe had been pushed back, barely, but many had died. Too many. Jason's hands were shaking, not from fear. From rage. He had powers. Now strength, speed, a strange new vision that let him see heat, emotion, even lies. But none of that helped him stop the destruction. Across the camp, Sira knelt beside a fallen child. She didn't cry. Kari warriors didn't cry. But Jason saw her grief, glowing in her skin like soft blue light. He walked toward her. They came for me, he said. She didn't look up. They came for us. Jason sat beside her, quiet for a long time. Then he said, what if I asked you to come with me, to Earth? Sira finally looked at him, her voice calm. You wouldn't make it. They'd kill you. You're not fully human anymore. That night, a transmission reached the camp. Jason was summoned alone to a high hill above the canyon. A human ship floated above, nearly invisible against the stars. A voice called through his earpiece. Familiar. Commander Hart. Jason, you've broken protocol, but you're still one of us. Step away from the Kari, and we'll extract you. Jason took a deep breath. I can't. She's using you. That alien bond, it's rewriting your brain. Jason shook his head. No, it's showing me who I am. Then this is your last chance. Step away, or we bring this camp down. The signal cut off. Behind him, Sira had followed. She had heard everything. Jason turned. I can go now. Back to Earth, but they'll burn everything here to do it. Sira nodded. You must choose. He looked at her. At the fire in her eyes, the sadness, the strength. And he remembered the battlefield, the cry, the moment he lifted her from the rubble. I didn't come here to stay, he said. But now I can't leave. She stepped closer. You are mine, she whispered. By blood, by choice. Jason nodded. And you're mine. No matter what happens. They walked back to camp together. And above them, in the human ship, a decision was made. Strike order confirmed. An hour later, as the first missiles fell from the sky. Jason stood tall at the center of the camp, his body glowing, his voice steady. The bond between him and Sira now fully awake. He raised one hand toward the sky, and the air rippled. A wall of red light formed over the camp. A shield born from the bond. The The missiles hit it and shattered. Shockwaves rolled. But the camp stood untouched. Inside the human ship, alarm screamed. What is that energy signature? It's him. He's not just bonded. He's evolved. Jason opened his eyes. The shield faded slowly. Sira touched his shoulder. You chose. Jason nodded. I did. And in that moment, he knew he wasn't human anymore. Not fully, and he didn't care. They stood in silence. The shield Jason created was gone now. The smoke in the sky had cleared, but something had changed. In the air, in the ground, in him. Jason felt weightless. His skin still glowed softly. His bones no longer felt like his own. His heartbeat was no longer a single sound. It echoed in two rhythms. One was his. The other was Sira's. They were bonded now, completely. Not by blood, not by war, by choice. The Kari tribes gathered around him. Not bowing, just watching. Some were afraid, some were in awe. Some whispered a word in their language, over and over again. Veilka, the two as one. Sira stood beside him. Her wounds were gone. He had healed her, not with medicine, but with the energy of the bond. She looked stronger than ever, but her eyes still carried pain. A voice called from the cliffs. A human soldier, alone, holding a white flag. Jason stepped forward. The soldier saluted. Sir, he said, hesitating. Orders have changed. Jason raised an eyebrow. No strike. No extraction. They want to negotiate. Jason laughed softly. Now they do. The soldier looked around, nervous. They say you're not a threat, but you're not one of us anymore either. Jason looked back at Sira. I'm something better. That night, Jason and Sira stood alone in the canyon. No warships, no drones, no orders, just wind, stars, and truth. Sira reached out, placing her palm against his. Their blood marks touched and lit up one final time. I was wounded, she said. Softly, you carried me. Jason nodded. I was lost. You showed me where to go. She smiled. Now we are both whole. They didn't return to Earth. They didn't stay with the Kari. Either. Together, they walked beyond both lands into the old worlds the stars had forgotten. Some say they became legend. Others say they disappeared. But if you listen closely, some nights you can hear them in the wind. One life saved. One path chosen. Two hearts. One flame.